in their rescue efforts. Treated vultures must be monitored closely with retreatment every 90 minutes to 2 hours day and night. They usually start improving within 48 hours, spend about 3 days in the clinic, then are moved outside for 2 weeks of monitoring before release, she noted. Mohololo employee Becky highlighted vultures' crucial role in maintaining a balanced ecosystem. They help oversee remove any dead and diseased carcasses from the environment, which in turn helps prevent the spread of diseases into even like human communities, she explained. For more than 34 years, the center has been a lifeline for sick, orphaned, injured and poisoned animals with the aim of releasing them back into the wild. The center also provides a lifelong sanctuary for wildlife that cannot be released due to the severity of their condition.
Basically, the threat of vulture poisoning to vultures is very real. At the moment, in the whole continent of Africa, annually we're losing between 5 and 7% of the whole vulture population on the whole continent of Africa, only due to wildlife poisoning. So it's a very real threat that in near future we might face the reality of losing vultures completely as a species at this stage. That's how severe it is. So we're more involved in actually rescuing the animal, providing first aid on the ground, and then if there's any sort of evidence needed, for example, if we get poisoned birds, sometimes the local authorities or the police will need samples of the food that these birds have ingested to do testing and actually prove that that poison was used there as well. That's sometimes where we come into play. And other times we had it before where local authorities and investigators have maybe confiscated animals that were kept illegally by poachers because they wanted to. In the case of vultures, they can get money for their body parts on certain markets, and they illegally have these vultures, and then sometimes local authorities do confiscate them and then call us to go and rescue the animals after they've taken possession over them away from the poachers.
Yeah, so with all the educational tours and just general knowledge that we try to share about the vultures, we try and let people know that the common local beliefs about the fact that vultures can help them see into the future or use for other medicinal or black market reasons is not in fact true, and also that it can actually be quite dangerous for people if they do consume these body parts because they have mostly come from poisoned birds. So vultures are super important to maintain a healthy ecosystem. They help obviously remove any dead and diseased carcasses from the environment, which in turn helps prevent the spread of diseases into even like human communities and things. So without vultures, there's going to be a wide spread of different diseases, new diseases, all sorts of things.
Fine with the fence, or you can also go inside if you want.
So when we get the phone call, these are normally found by rangers. So when we get the phone call, we get the equipment ready as soon as possible and head off to the poisoning site. Every minute counts for these vultures. You want to be there as quick as possible. The last mass poisoning, we had a privilege to actually use the helicopter to get there as quick as possible. Once you've treated all these vultures, you have to retreat them every hour and a half to every 2 hours throughout the day and throughout the night. Normally you'll start seeing them pick up in 48 hours, and then they would recover quite well for the 3 days in the clinic. Then once they are done recovering in the clinic, we put them outside for 2 weeks, monitor them, and then they get released again. Our vulture treatment protocol is 96% success rate, so we're very successful at treating poisoned vultures. And the last 5 years we've treated 230 poisoned vultures.
Slam dunk into the history book. Nigeria clinched fifth consecutive women's Afrobasket title, defeating Mali 78-64. Nigeria became part of basketball history on Saturday night, clinching their record-breaking fifth consecutive FIBA women's Afrobasket title after defeating Mali 76-64 in the 2025 final in Abidjan. Footage shows jubilant scenes as the Tigers celebrated their triumph with fans, while Mali and South Sudan collected their silver and bronze medals. For South Sudan, it marked a milestone, the first women's Afrobasket debutants to reach the podium. Ami Okonkwo, who led from the front, was named the tournament MVP for the second time running. Playing for Nigeria has been a dream. To play the game that I love, the gift that God gave me, to be able to do it and inspire people, and to be mounted into history. Man, I feel so blessed, she said. Despite the loss, Mali's players held their heads high, vowing to return stronger. We tried, but the best team won. Congratulations to Nigeria. We'll come back stronger next time, Sarah Tienil said. We gave it everything we had, and it wasn't just enough. New generations are coming up. There's Mali. It's a basketball nation, so we're going to come back even stronger, Rokia Doibia added. Nigeria's win also books them a place in the 2026 FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup in Berlin, pending qualification through the next March tournaments. This victory also marks Nigeria's 29th straight Afrobasket win, a streak that began after their last tournament loss in 2015. Watch out, Silicon Valley. Cameroon's children dive into coding and robotics at summer tech camps. Summer tech boot camps and coding centers across Cameroon are equipping children as young as 4 with digital skills. The grassroots movement gains momentum to foster earlier innovation in coding, AI, and robotics. Footage filmed on Friday shows young participants at the Multifunctional Youth Promotion Center in Yaoundé building DIY cardboard go-karts, wiring electric circuits, and learning to program basic robotic components. Today we had a coding and robotics course in which we wired an electric circuit with a two-way switch, shared a young student. A two-way switch enables us to control 2 lamps from the same point without necessarily needing an additional switch. Tech trainer and camp founder Lee Medjailu explained that the initiative fills a critical gap in the Cameroonian education system, which offers a limited focus on STEM subjects. The aim is not only to bridge the gap between theory and practice, but also to encourage innovation, she said. Currently, we are engaged in holiday activities designed to keep our children occupied with helping them acquire essential skills, stated a youth animator. She persisted, as you know, guiding them during the holidays can be quite challenging. In this context, our partners stepped in to introduce them to coding and robotics. The camp partners with Bliss Global Tech Centers, an initiative training children aged 6 to 13 in a hands-on prototype design to solve real-life problems with building creativity and practical tech skills.